You look at the defense from the D-line, probably the best D-line in the NFL. Then you got PQ leading the linebacker, and then the secondary. Me and Slay have had a relationship for a while. Me and Joey, we got some kind of family ties going on. My bad. And then yeah, add me in there. Obviously, me and Deshaun played with each other before on the same team, so just a lot of excitement around the defense. But not just the defense, the offense too. Obviously, A-Rod's here now. DK, who I've had a lot of battles with. That's been fun.
Okay, so a lot of big personalities are going to be in the Steelers locker room, right? Mike Tomlin knows how to handle all that. But how do you see this shaking out, Lindsey?
Laura, this is so interesting because you see Jalen Ramsey pop up and you go, oh, yeah, on top of Aaron Rodgers, on top of DK, there's Jalen Ramsey. Like you mentioned, Mike Tomlin has plenty of experience handling some big personalities, but this can go one of two ways, right? You win games, you all are on the same train going forward, and those personalities all fall in line. If things start to go sideways, those personalities can get a little out of control, right? You go back to DK Metcalf back when he was in Seattle. I was covering him. And things with his quarterback weren't always on the same page. And sometimes that became kind of a hot temper situation. And the two, had to cool down for a few minutes. With Jalen Ramsey, right? Like, I think we all well know that Jalen likes to do things the way he wants them done. And he is a football player. He'll play anywhere that the coaches ask. He'll do anything that's asked of him. But he has strong opinions on some of that, too. So if you are winning, that's all good and dandy. But Mike Tomlin might have his work cut out for him with just personalities alone.
Yeah, Lindsey, he may have his work cut out, but there's no other coach that I would rather have in that position than Mike Tomlin. And when you're dealing with professional football players, as you heard Brooke talk about, you can get whatever type of mattress you want, king size, pillow top, you can blow it, whatever you need. This organization, and just like any organization in professional football, they cater to the athletes. So what do they want you to do? Show up and do your job. And no coach gets athletes or gets professional football players to do that more than Mike Tomlin. So yeah, it's a ton of personalities, a lot of egos. Name me a good football team that doesn't have that. But there's no coach, I think, that can get those personalities and get those egos to come and realize we're all about the team. We're about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have one common goal. We're going to be physical. Mike Tomlin even moved their practices from the morning to the afternoon. Why? I want to practice in the hottest part of the day. So they are going to a coach who, I don't care about your personality. I don't care about your ego. You came here to work, Lewis. And I think Mike Tomlin is going to lay that foundation down. And when he does, I think these personalities will fall in line.
Yeah, look, there's certain organizations, right, that kind of carry a certain kind of cachet that I think even the players that are habitual line pushers, I don't want to say line steppers, will probably dial it back simply out of respect for the organization itself. And Pittsburgh is just one of those places. And on top of it, look, I mean, obviously we all love Mike Tomlin. We all love what he has done. We all love the kind of respect that he has earned, not just from us, but from other coaches and from players. Everybody loves Mike and everybody respects him for what he has done throughout his career. But I think even most importantly, and you see there on your screen, look, what this really, I think this season is going to come down to for the Pittsburgh Steelers overall. Look, a lot of the focus is going to be on those two guys right there that you see on your screen. Number 8, Aaron Rodgers, and that guy to your right there, Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator. I really think that is really where this whole thing really hinges. Because I think on the defensive side, look, with guys like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, they're going to be fine on that side of the ball. No one's going to mess with Cam Hayward. No one's going to mess with TJ. No one's going to come in there and try and go, hey, look, I know you guys have done it like this for a decade plus, but we have a better way. No one's doing that. No one's doing that. But on the offensive side, that's where it is. That relationship, how does it grow? How does it work in the toughest of times? Because there are going to be ups and downs. And how do they keep the trains on the track and get it and continue it and get it improving? Because if it improves, they can improve upon that 10-win season from a year ago.
Look at this. Stephon Diggs is celebrating today Adoption Day for puppies, and he puts this little guy down but then loses him. I mean, this would have been really bad. If not for a really shifty, great athlete, that puppy is on the loose. But don't worry, he's secured the goods. Puppy security, important thing there, as you see Diggs signing that 3-year deal with the Patriots in March. Here's Drake May earlier today.
I think coming into year 2, hopefully, will be a kind of bigger stride for me, kind of take the next level to playing, kind of chess match with the defense, and then just kind of remaining a passer longer when I scramble. I think that's big. Kind of getting outside the pocket, remaining a passer longer, hopefully some big plays, scramble plays, and just making the defense. I feel like I had good times last year where I had some guys deep that I may have missed them or took off running instead. So just try to remain a passer and just keep trying to work on footwork. I think that's the big thing. New offense, new play actions, new concepts. Just try to time it up and get a good groove.
Drake May, always very impressive. I'm still distracted by that cute puppy, but let's welcome in our Patriots reporter, Mike Reiss from Foxborough. Mike, what did you see other than puppies at day one out there on the practice field?
Yeah. Well, Laura, I got to tell you, the Patriots did a great job. They had 41 puppies here, and 40 of them were adopted. So start with that. But I want to tell you, the play of the day, right? The play of the day at practice was the first play of full team drills. Drake May drops back, hits Stephon Diggs on a short crosser over the middle, and the fans that were here, more than 5,000, erupt in a big cheer. And so it was that connection that Drake made to Stephon Diggs on the first play that really got the energy up at practice. And then the two of them on the next full team drill connected on the first play again. And May saying after practice that it's awesome to be able to throw to someone like Diggs. And I just add Kyle Williams, the rookie receiver, had one big catch on Christian Gonzalez, the second team All-Pro. So a good start for him.
These guys will be out here competing, but Russ is our starter. Russell's had a really good spring. The other quarterbacks have as well. I like that room. I like the direction the room is headed. He's a guy who's done it for a long time. He's got a lot of experiences. He's been in a number of systems. He's played a lot of football. He's seen a lot of things. He's made a lot of adjustments. And I think there's a lot of good give and take in our quarterback room. I think you need to have that. Those are the guys that are playing behind center, and they have to be very comfortable with what we're asking them to do. And you certainly listen to those guys.
All right, so Russ officially QB1 for the Giants. Lewis, did Dable need to make this call now?
Yeah, you know what, Laura? I think he did it simply so people don't continue to ask him about it, which is natural when you draft a quarterback in the first round. You're going to ask, well, when's Jackson going to play? When's Jackson ready? How's Jackson doing? Is Jackson ready? Is Jackson going to be the starter? Is Jackson still competing? He's saying, well, look, I'll tell you what, Russ is starting. And now we'll take it from there. And so obviously this kind of like the story will write itself, right? If Russ continues to play well, then Jackson probably sits the bench for for his rookie season. If the Giants are winning, Brian Daboll gets a second crack at it as far as maybe developing Jackson the following year. And maybe it's a Kansas City type situation, right? When they drafted Patrick Mahomes, and Alex Smith was the starter, had the best season of his career, went to the Pro Bowl. The next season, they shipped him off and put Patrick in there. I think that's what everybody ideally is looking for. Obviously, the New York Giants are trying to set it up that way. Hey, can we be good enough with Russ, lean on his veteran expertise, win enough games to where we can then develop this first-round quarterback down the road? Obviously, it's risky. I wouldn't bet on it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Lewis, I think that's a great point by you. He takes the questions and he pushes them all to the side. But as we saw in Seattle years ago, when they named Matt Flynn the starter, Russell Wilson came in and took the job over. Nobody ever said anything because we assumed it was going to be Matt Flynn. If you're in New York, I think we already knew Russell had the hand up. Follow the money. Russell is making $10 million this year. Jameis is making like 3 or 4, and then you draft a rookie out of Ole Miss. So I think without him saying that, we kind of already knew Russell was in pole position, as Mike Tomlin said last year, and now it's up to Russ to go out each and every day and continue to stay there. But this is really no surprise. But whether it's Russell now, Jameis later, it doesn't matter. The future is Jackson Dart. And so everything that they're doing in that organization is to make sure that this year, at the end of this season, yeah, you want to go out and win. And I know Brian Daboll, they got to win. I get that. But at some point, the future of this organization is Jackson Dart, and they got to try to balance that fine line of winning now and preparing Jackson Dart for the future, Lindsey.
I do love Lewis's impression of reporters and how we do our jobs. Yeah. Is he gonna start now? Is he gonna start now? The day after? Where's that competition at? Right? Like, Lewis, you nailed it. That's exactly me. Ask all those coaches; they don't love it. But for that point alone, this was a really smart move for Dable to make, and just say Russell Wilson is the starter coming out of the gate. Like, look, he hasn't had the best couple seasons the last few seasons, but he is still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The other guy, Jackson Dart, obviously Jameis Winston, the money alone, as Booger says he was going to be a backup guy. But Jackson Dart, as a rookie coming into the late first round, you can learn from Russell Wilson. You go in with Russell Wilson, he's an established starter. He knows how to lead a team. And if the day comes when he's not playing well, you can make the switch. And that, for a head coach who is coaching for his job, is a lot easier switch to make than it is to deal with a quarterback competition that's really not much of a competition, perhaps, out of the gate.
We have a really good handle on who we are, what our guys are good at, and our identity, if you want to call it that, the type of offense we want to run. So let's get to work on getting good at it, because it's more about being good at what you do than what you do.
I believe our offense has no limits because we got guys that can play any position. You know, like you just said, like Zay going a slide, got D-Hop outside, Bait outside. Man, it's no roof. You know, the ceiling's unlimited.
Having a year under my belt, you're a lot familiar with the offense, but there's still room to grow, still room to improve, still room to learn, and that's what I'm trying to focus on. How can I improve being a year under this offense and get better than I was last year?
Yeah, I mean, this team can be so good, Lewis. Is there something new that the Ravens can do, especially to evolve the offense more and have more success in the postseason?
Yeah, they can catch the ball when it's thrown to them, and they can protect the ball when they're in the pocket and they're trying to look down the field and try not to do too much. And I know that sounds kind of sarcastic and maybe kind of obvious, but that's really, Laura, for me, like that's what it's about with the Ravens. It's about the obvious things at the biggest moments, which is what they're going to have to find a way to tap in those moments and do the things that they do as well as any team in the NFL in the regular season. Like, they do it all regular season. And then they get to the playoffs, and next thing you know, they're turning the football over, they're dropping passes, they're making bad mistakes, bad decisions. And that's just not, look, there is no secret sauce for that. That's just every man taking accountability for what they need to get done in the biggest of moments. And I don't know how to exactly really make sure that they do that. And I think John Harbaugh's trying to figure that out too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out, but unfortunately for him and the rest of his team, there's nothing they can do between Labor Day and January. Like, once the playoffs start, that's when the Ravens have to prove to us that they've learned how to show up in the biggest moments. So, like, the regular season is going to be cool. They'll probably win 12, 13 games or whatever. But once they get in the postseason, can their star players play their best in the postseason? Mark Andrews, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Bateman, can those guys play their best? That'll be the key.
Lewis is talking about catching balls. That's called getting on the jugs machine more during training camp, right? As far as how they fix or what they need to fix, what's interesting to me is you listen to the Eagles today. They are coming off a Super Bowl victory, and they're still talking about how they need to improve, what they need to fix, and the tough conversations they need to have. I'm still curious with the Ravens what those conversations are and really what they need to fix more behind the scenes.